Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of The Raven Speaks. The Raven Speaks is a series of weekly videos about a variety of subjects. Feel free to comment below to suggest the topic for a future episode. I would love to actually really be talking about what you want to hear about instead of just, me trying to guess. And I'm sorry about if any of the noise going on in the yard can be heard by you. Someone's cutting the lawn, mowing the weeds. God, it's funny if you could see the lawn. Anyways, the war against the dead has always been a major plot point in Game of Thrones. With the shortened 2 seasons of the show, though, there was always the possibility the pacing would make for a disappointing final clash between living and dead. In the initial Season 8 teaser trailer, I started growing suspicious that the final clash would be disappointing. I was correct. Some people that like the episode say the series was always meant to be about claiming the Iron Throne. While you could point to the title of the series Game of Thrones is based on, you could just as easily point to how the story's structure points how the long night is bad writing. Oh god. Anyways, part 1. The importance of a first scene. Many writers have trouble with the beginning of a story. This is understandable as the initial scene of a story is supposed to do these things. First, it is supposed to set up the world of your story. If you're writing a science fiction or fantasy story, it's important to make sure the audience gets a little taste of your world. Second, it is supposed to point out things that are important to your story. This includes villains, the main problems, themes, etc. The first scene of Game of Thrones involves the White Walkers. It also involves one of the mysterious symbols the White Walkers are fond of making. The fact the first scene is of the White Walkers and not one of the other characters indicates they are the true threat of the series. The fight for power is just an illusion and doesn't matter in the grain. Good. I'll just, yeah. The fight for power is just an illusion and doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I can read, I swear. I have a BA in English. Part 2. Why the dead should have been well-rounded. So, why not have the Night King and his commanders be anything but mindless? Why not have a force that is evil just to be evil? The show has given us heroes and villains that are complex. You are able to see from their point of view. There are characters that do noble things but have also stained their hands once or twice. Ned Stark was the most honorable man in Westeros, but he used trickery to win against Sir Arthur Dayne. Cersei Lannister is evil, but she loves her children. In a hero, motherly love would be cherished, but she twists that love into something else. It is still love, but at the same time, it's toxic. Ramsay Bolton and Joffrey Baratheon are the two outliers, but at the same time, we can understand how their bad traits were able to flourish. We understand the barest of motivations. Ramsay was raised to honor the traits of House Bolton, which are cruel. Long story short. Joffrey was raised to believe he's special, and so he believed that in full. Oh my fucking god, did he think he was special? All we know of the Night King is he was made by the children of the forest to kill humans. But we don't understand why that plan went wrong. By the symbols and that he was able to communicate with Craster, we know the Night King isn't senseless. For a show that has done such a good job with making well-rounded characters and showing us people's motivations, it's extremely odd the Night King was made out to be just an average villain. And for all you Animorphs fans that are watching this, that last part, it was hard not to talk about Krayak. You don't know how hard it was to edit that out. Everyone else who's watching this is like, what the fuck is this person talking about? Anyways, part 3. In short, the long night was anticlimactic. With a shortened season, of course it was evident certain plots would have to be sped up. But with good pacing, the final fight against the dead could still be rewarding. The Long Night was a masterfully done episode if one only looks at visuals. However, it did falter when the action got so chaotic you couldn't follow who was being attacked. For extras, this doesn't matter, but for named characters, it isn't good when you can't clearly see what's happening to them. Those moments are when my mind wandered because I couldn't tell what was going on to the characters I knew and loved, and I didn't feel like making the effort to dissect the shots to figure it out. I don't mind Arya Stark killing the Night King and consider that a good twist. But she killed him so easily, he didn't seem like a big threat. If he could be killed like that, why didn't people millennia ago? Oh shit, sorry. Hang on, I read that incorrectly. If he could be killed like that, why did people millennia ago have to build a wall to hold them back as they couldn't defeat the dead? Arya isn't the first master assassin in history. Plus, there was no attempt to flesh out the character of the Night King. Part 4. The prequel cop-out. Besides the season being short and making me wary about a good payoff about the Night King, there is the fact that an upcoming prequel series will delve into the history of the Long Night. There was a chance that the prequel could mean one of two things for the show. The first is that the full weight of explaining the Night King would be lessened, so viewers could learn more about the mysterious figure, but would still be left with questions. The second is that the show wouldn't explain anything about the Night King and leave it to the prequel to explain everything. Game of Thrones chose the latter option. So, what do you think? Did you like, the Long Night? Was that one of your favorite episodes? Even though I'm not a big fan of it, you like what you like. Don't be ashamed of it, and don't attack people for having other opinions than you. Do you do you think that the dead should have been flashed out? There's me going. Do you think the dead should have been fleshed out more, like the Night King should have been more than, just a standard villain? Or do you like evil being evil for evil's sake? And do you find them leaving everything to the prequel a cop-out, or do you find it a good way to save time on explaining things? Just comment below. And if you're there commenting down below, please, suggest something for a future episode. So if you want to know my opinions on something, I'm able to actually know you want to know those opinions, and so I can get a future episode out. Please. And also, if you're on the YouTubes, please like this video if you think the Night King deserved better, if you think he deserved a more fleshed out story. And subscribe, because I am going to be reviewing all the season 8 episodes of Game of Thrones, and I'm going to also be doing my usual season review. And so, if you want more Game of Thrones content, please subscribe. And if you're watching this on my bloggity blog and watching on the desktop version of my bloggity blog, please choose the follow by email option so you never again miss out one of my awesome blog posts ever again. I don't just do the Raven Speaks, I just don't talk about Game of Thrones. I also do Animorphs. I have an Animorphs dramatic reading going on. I do some fan fictions. And I'm going to try to be getting out shortest fic about, uh, what if Jorah actually lived? Because to me, that's one of the great things about fan fiction. You're able to delve into ideas and without interfering with canon, without going, he should have lived. Just because you want him to live, you can go, okay, now I'm happy. And if you're wondering, there's sort of a difference between knowing there's bad writing and then just not getting what you wanted. There is a difference, and I can sadly look at that line. So, that'll be it for this episode. Next week, there will be another The Raven Speaks episode. I don't start really outlining it till the Monday before, just so that if something really exciting pops up, I can, talk about that. So, until next video, goodbye.